Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back into the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockett, your host of the show. Guys, today I'm super pumped because I'm giving you my top 25 wide receivers for week 3. I love doing wide receiver rankings because there's just so many good wide receivers in fantasy football that it definitely helps to narrow it down to a top 25 so you can know who the top 25 optimal plays are for the week. All right, guys. I am going to get right into it with my number one wide receiver, but if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below. That's going to help me grow my channel. Also, if you do like the content today, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it, guys. I'm going to get right into my number one wide receiver, and that's going to be Tyreek Hill. He commanded a very strong double team in week 2 against the Ravens. I wouldn't make too much of this, guys, because just because the Ravens decided to double team does not mean that every team is going to do that to Tyreek Hill week in and week out. And he's still a wide receiver 1, even when he's being double teamed, as weird as that sounds. He has the best quarterback in football throwing him the ball, who has unbelievable playmaking ability and unbelievable arm accuracy. So, he can thread the needle and get Tyreek Hill the ball even in tight windows. And Tyreek Hill's one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest guy in the NFL, so his ability to get open is second to none. Even commanding a double team, he's going to have some big weeks. And the thing about a double team is most teams are going to wise up to it because it's better to let Tyreek Hill beat you in single coverage than to leave a different Chiefs wide receiver just wide open, okay? So he's not necessarily going to draw a double team like that every single week. We're definitely not dropping him in rankings after just seeing that for 1 week. We need to see him get shut down by a double team multiple weeks in a row before we even consider dropping him in our rankings. He's the number 1 for the week. Devonte Adams, number 2. Devonte Adams had a big-time comeback week against the Lions. I think a lot of us saw that coming. I mean, the Packers' offense wasn't going to continue to struggle, especially against a poor defense like the Lions. Devonte Adams had 8 catches, 128 yards. He caught that huge 50-yard pass on a 3rd and long that really helped bring the Packers into a good spot to win the game. So this is still one of the best receivers in football, with one of the best quarterbacks, arguably the best quarterback in football, in Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. Aaron Rodgers is great at throwing the deep ball, and Devonte Adams is great at getting open downfield. The dude is going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. We knew he was in for a little bit of touchdown regression, considering he scored 18 touchdowns last year, but he's still going to get in the end zone a lot this year and have a lot of 100-yard games. This dude is easily the number 2 for the week. All right, DeAndre Hopkins. Cardinals going up against the Jaguars. Wow, does that sound juicy or what? That is about the best matchup you could ask for. The Jaguars have an absolutely piss-poor defense in every way, and the Cardinals have Kyler Murray. Guys, Kyler Murray is, according to BetMGM, he is actually the front runner to win MVP right now. Wow, that's pretty cool. So Kyler Murray is projected to have an absolutely huge season. We saw how potent this offense is in the first 2 weeks, and his ability to get DeAndre Hopkins the ball seems to be pretty awesome. It's pretty much an unstoppable quarterback wide receiver duo. You could expect DeAndre Hopkins to go off every single week. And look, DeAndre Hopkins only had 6 touchdowns last year. We knew he was in for some positive touchdown regression. He's already got 3 touchdowns in the young season. Look for this dude to literally score 15 touchdowns or more this year. He's an absolute beast, automatic plug and play every week. Okay, you're starting him against the Jaguars, no doubt. Number 3 on the week. Okay. Keenan Allen on my number 4. This is higher than I'm normally going to have Keenan Allen, but look, Keenan Allen's had a great start to the season. He's posted 100-yard games in his first 2 outings in the NFL season. Look, this dude has always been an elite wide receiver. He's kind of been a little bit on the boomer bust side in fantasy as far as production, but he's always commanded a consistent target share on this team, and volume is everything in fantasy. Volume combined with elite talent equals elite fantasy production. This dude is going to have a huge season with the stud quarterback Justin Herbert throwing him the ball, and this week he's playing the Chiefs. It's going to be a very high-scoring game. Look for Keenan Allen to have double-digit targets. This is almost inevitable, and is a very high likelihood of him posting another 100-yard game, and he has a good chance to get in the end zone. So Keenan Allen's my number 4 for the week. Tyler Lockett, guys. Tyler Lockett is the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football in the young fantasy season. I don't expect this dude to finish number 1 on the season, but he can definitely finish inside the top 8, and best case scenario, he could definitely finish inside the top 5. This dude has incredible playmaking ability. He's a great route runner. He's fast. The dude is, he has an awesome connection with Russell Wilson in catching the ball down the field and making big plays. And this dude is going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. He's going to have 100-yard games. I don't want to say that he's consistently going to have 100-yard games. He's definitely going to have weeks where he misses, but the upside is tremendous, and it looks like he's got an even higher floor this year than he has in years past. So Tyler Lockett's my number 5 for the week, playing up against the Vikings. It should be a high-scoring game. Tyler Lockett should go off. Okay, Stephon Diggs playing up against the Washington football team. They're going to be force-feeding Stephon Diggs the ball. He's still their best receiver. He hasn't had a 100-yard game yet, but that's going to change. The Washington football defense looks like it's a little more exploitable than we thought it was. The Giants were able to pass on them and move the ball pretty well, so Buffalo will definitely be able to move the ball. Look for Stephon Diggs to have his first 100-yard game against the Washington football team in this coming week. Cooper Kupp has had an awesome season. 200-yard games, double-digit targets in both his first 2 games. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp obviously have a great connection. They're playing the Bucs. Should be a high-scoring game. Look for Cooper Kupp to potentially go off and have another huge game. All right, DK Metcalf. At the beginning of the season, pretty much everybody had Metcalf ahead of Tyler Lockett in their rankings. At this point, I think you have to put Lockett a little bit above DK Metcalf. They've had a very similar target share. They both commanded 16 targets on the young season. But Tyler Lockett has made the most of them, and he's the one who's scoring the touchdowns and getting the 100-yard-plus game. So until further notice, I'm putting Tyler Lockett ahead of DK Metcalf. Some people might think that's crazy, but right now I just got Tyler Lockett as the number 1 on the team right now. That could change later, but right now Tyler Lockett is a little bit ahead of DK Metcalf. All right, Justin Jefferson, still the number 1 receiver on the Minnesota Vikings, rookie sensation from last year. He found the end zone last week, which was a good sign. The dude's still commanding a significant amount of the team's target share. Him and Thielen are going to be duking it out for the lead target share on the team this year. But Justin Jefferson is going to get his. He's going to get his 100-yard games. He's going to get his touchdowns. You're starting Justin Jefferson week 3. Adam Thielen, a little bit of a different receiver than Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson has more big plays in his arsenal, for the season. But Adam Thielen commands so many red zone targets that he'll make up for that with scoring opportunities, and he's still a wide receiver that can turn out big plays as well. The dude's an elite talent, so you're starting Adam Thielen. On to my 11 through 20. We got Terry McLaurin at my 11. Guys, everybody that watched my preseason videos knows how big I am on Terry McLaurin. Facing the Buffalo Bills, who have a pretty good defense, I still think that Terry McLaurin will be able to have his way like he does against every opponent, and look for him to post huge numbers. They're going to be force-feeding him the ball all season. I bet you even against this stingy Buffalo defense, he still has a 100-yard game. Who knows if he'll find the end zone. Touchdowns could be random, but the dude's going to post another 100-yard game and be a PPR machine. CD Lamb. Wow. Okay, so we got the Cowboys versus Eagles this weekend. The Eagles' defense definitely has some holes in it. CD Lamb should be able to eat. Amari Cooper got injured at the end of the Week 2 game. We're going to have to monitor his injury closely going forward to see if he's going to play. I do have him in my top 25, spoiler alert. But if he's hurt, CD Lamb could be more of a top 10 wide receiver on the week. Robert Woods, number 13. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp have had an awesome connection so far. Robert Woods is going to get his, guys. Don't worry. Robert Woods is going to get his turn to eat. So you're starting Robert Woods every week until further notice. Calvin Ridley, a little bit of a slow start to the season as far as yardage is concerned. He did find the end zone last week, which is a good sign. Going up against the Giants have an exploitable secondary. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be, but Calvin Ridley can definitely beat anyone in the Giants secondary, and he's probably going to post a big week for the first time this season. Look for Calvin Ridley to go off this week. Mike Evans against the Rams. Mike Evans is still the clear-cut number 1 on the Bucs. It looks like Antonio Brown's on the COVID list, so this bodes extremely well for Evans and Godwin. Look for Mike Evans to have a huge week against the Rams. Mike Williams, the Chargers' number 2 receiver. I think that Mike Williams is going to go off this year, guys. He's seen significant target share, in the young season, and he's had big games. And you know what? This dude is going to get more 100-yard games this year than a lot of us expected him to. I think he has a good chance at 100-yard games. A 100-yard game against the Chiefs this weekend is going to be a high-scoring game. So you want both Chargers receivers. Debo Samuel is the number 3 receiver on the season. He's been the clear target hog for San Francisco. Brandon Ayuk is just not even startable at this point. Odds are you got Debo Samuel way later in the draft because Ayuk was the receiver for San Francisco that was going early. You are starting Debo Samuel every week until for some reason this changes and Brandon Ayuk starts leading the targets, which could happen, but right now it just really looks like Debo Samuel is the guy. So you're starting Debo Samuel in week 3. Chris Godwin, I think this is going to be a big Chris Godwin game, guys. The Rams' pass rush is pretty wicked, so Tom Brady's going to be looking to dump the ball off quickly, which bodes well for slot receivers, especially slot receivers named Chris Godwin. You're starting Chris Godwin in Week 3. A.J. Brown had a little bit of a quiet Week 2, but he's still supposedly the number one receiver on his team with Julio Jones. I see this as, it's definitely not a Batman and Robin situation. It's Batman and Batman with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, but A.J. Brown is an elite talent, and, as long as the run game is working with Derrick Henry, that sets up the play action for A.J. Brown to bust out huge plays. You're starting A.J. Brown in Week 3. DJ Moore has been awesome this year, guys. He finally found the end zone in Week 2. Didn't get in the end zone in Week 1, but it's no big deal. I would have him higher in my rankings, but I just feel like this is a Christian McCaffrey week because they're playing against the Texans, meaning they're probably going to have a huge lead the whole game, and that's going to bode well for Christian McCaffrey, not necessarily the Panthers wide receivers. I still see DJ Moore getting 80 to 100 yards in this game, so you're definitely starting him. On to my 21 through 25. 21, Julio Jones. I have him just below A.J. Brown simply because A.J. Brown is supposedly the number one wide receiver on the team according to the depth chart. Again, this is not a Batman and Robin situation. Julio Jones is going to have just as many big games as A.J. Brown does this year, possibly even more. We're talking about Julio freaking Jones, guys. This is one of the best, most talented wide receivers in football still, and considering they have Derrick Henry that teams have to worry about, that all that does is set up the play action for Julio Jones to make big plays. Okay, so plug Julio Jones into your lineup Week 3. T. Higgins found the end zone last week, which is a good sign. This is just an alpha male wide receiver, guys. It's going to command a lot of targets all season long. The Bengals offense is very efficient with a healthy Joe Mixon and a healthy Joe Burrow, so look for T. Higgins to eat this season. You're starting him in Week 3. The Bengals play the Steelers. The Steelers, they have an okay defense, but the secondary can definitely be beaten. They don't really have anyone in their secondary they could just shut down T. Higgins. I mean, T. Higgins is going to eat. Amari Cooper. Okay, Amari Cooper is a little bit lower in my rankings only because of the injury that he suffered. I don't know that he's going to be playing this week. If he is playing, I don't know how electric he's going to be because he might be in a little bit of pain. So I have CeeDee Lamb way above him in the rankings. If we know that Amari Cooper is 100% ready to go, he's going to be a lot closer up there around the 11 or 12 mark where I have CeeDee Lamb. But you're starting Amari Cooper this week if he's playing. Okay, number 24, Jamar Chase. I have Jamar Chase just a little bit below T. Higgins because I still think that T. Higgins is the number one wide receiver on this team. But Jamar Chase has had a touchdown in both of the first 2 weeks. It's a very good sign. This dude can have a huge season, and I guess there is the possibility that he takes the number one wide receiver spot away from T. Higgins. I still have T. Higgins as the Bengals' number one receiver this year, but we're going to see how it plays out. All right, number 25, Chase Claypool. Going up against the Bengals have been involved in some pretty high-scoring games. Their secondary can definitely be beat. That bodes well for big play wide receivers like Chase Claypool. Look for Chase Claypool to have a huge coming out party in Week 3. All right, guys, that's going to be my wide receiver rankings for the day. I hope this helped you, figuring out who to plug into your lineup and whatnot. I am going to be getting at you a few more times before Sunday to go over some more things that I saw from last week and how they're going to relate to this coming week. And, okay, guys, I appreciate you tuning in for the video. If you haven't already, guys, click the subscribe button below. That's going to help me grow my channel. And also, if you did like the content today, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it, guys. I will catch you later.